Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you all for class 10 subject science. So today we are going to continue with our topic, that is life process. So in the last class we were talking about the human alimentary canal. So how we take in food? We'll take in food from the mouth, that is the digestion. What we take is known as intake, that is ingestion. Then when it comes to the stomach, the digestion takes place. We were talking about once the food is taken in the mouth, it will mixes with the salivary amylase, then it moves on with the peristaltic movement to the stomach. In the stomach it mixes with the HCl, okay, and the remaining gases. The food becomes acidic, then it moves on to the small intestine. Here in the small intestine there are different types of gastric, that is different types of juices, that is bile juice, pancreatic juice, which will mix in the food and it becomes neutralizes. Once it is acidic, it was acidic in the stomach. Now coming to the small intestine, here the complete digestion takes place, okay. In the small intestine, complete digestion takes place. The bile juice from the liver accomplishes this in the addition to the acting on fats. Fats are present in the intestine in the form of large globules which make it difficult for enzyme to act on them. Bile salts break them down into smaller globules, increasing the efficiency of enzyme action. This is similar to the emulsifying action, means how it was before, how it will be emulsifying in the salt. Similarly here the globules will make it smaller, the food particles for the absorption, fat particles, it will make it small. Then what happens? The pancreas secretes pancreatic juice which contains enzyme like trypsin for digesting proteins and lipase for breaking down emulsified fats. These are the pancreatic juices which are secreted for breaking down of the fats. The walls of the small intestine contain glands which secrete intestinal juices. Not only so much, the small intestine contains many glands which secretes intestinal juices. The enzyme present in it finally convert the proteins to amino acid. It will convert the protein into amino acid and the complex carbohydrates into glucose and fats into fatty acid and glycerol. That is, the complex carbohydrates will turn into glycerol and what happens here? Fats into fatty acids. Now the digested food is taken up by the walls of the intestine. The inner lining of the small intestine has numerous finger-like projection called villi. Here you can see the surface of the intestine has this kind of, these are nothing but the villi, finger-like projection which will be having. Now this will absorb all the amino acid, glucose and fatty acids which were there in the food. It will absorb here. In what? In the small intestine, okay. After that what happens? The digested food, it is taken through the villi which increases the surface area for absorption. From villi it will be absorbed. The villi are richly supplied with blood vessels which take the absorbed food to each and every cell of the body where it is utilized for obtaining energy, building up new tissues and the repair of old tissues also. Okay, that will be observed and it will be built what? The tissue which is teared and new tissues are made from that. From what? The protein, the glucose, the amino acid which is absorbed from the food. The unabsorbed food is sent into the large intestine. What happens after that? The undigested food will be sent back to the large intestine where its wall absorb more water from this material. The rest of material is removed from the body via the anus. The exit of this waste material is regulated by the anal sphincter. Sphincter means the muscles, okay. Now here after that, so here you can see from the small intestine it is connected to the large intestine. The unabsorbed food which is waste, it moves from small intestine to large intestine. The remaining water is absorbed in the large intestine and it is thrown out through the anus. This completes what? This is nothing but there are 5 processes in digestion, that is ingestion. Ingestion means taking in of food from the mouth. Then comes digestion. Digestion means breaking of complex food substance into smaller soluble food substances. That will be done in the stomach. Then comes the absorption part. Digested food is absorbed into the body cell, where it has been done in the small intestine. Then assimilation. Absorbed food is used to provide energy or form new protoplasm, that is again from the small intestine to the other parts. Assimilation is done. Then comes the egestion. Egestion is nothing but removal of undigested food, throwing of the waste. Ingestion means taking in food. Egestion means throwing out of food. These are the 5 processes in the digestion. This completes the digestion. Now, what is the meaning of tooth decay? Tooth decay causes gradually softening of enamel. And why is softening of enamel? The outer layer of the tooth has the enamel which will be softened. By what? By the bacteria acting on sugar produce acid that soften or diminish, that is demineralizes the enamel. Okay, it will dissolve. Masses of bacterial cells together with food particles stick to the teeth. What happens? All the food particles which is there, it will stick to the tooth, and the saliva cannot reach the tooth surface to neutralize the acidity. So the enamel will cause, it will be breaking. Now for that what we have to do is brushing the teeth after eating removes the plaque before the produce of acid. If untreated, means if you are not brushing, if you are not taking care of your teeth, means microorganism may invade the pulp, causing the inflammation and infection in the teeth. This causes tooth decay. So brushing can be helpful for this purpose. So the next is the respiration. What happens in the respiration? We have discussed nutrition in organism in the last section. The food material taken in during the process of nutrition is used in cell to provide energy for various life processes. Diverse organisms do this in different ways. Means different organism all will get the energy from the food, but different organism will do it in the different way. They have different way of observing the food. Some use oxygen to break down glucose completely into carbon dioxide and water. Some use other pathways that do not involve oxygen. In all the cases, the first step is the breakdown of glucose, a 6-carbon molecule. Now here you can see in the figure all the organism, the first part is what they are getting is the glucose here. Glucose has 6-carbon molecule. Now that is here in the presence of oxygen, that is in human beings, it will convert all this glucose into 3-carbon molecule, breaking up into 2 parts. It is known as pyruvate. Okay. First what happens, 6-carbon molecule will break into 2 parts, that is 3-carbon molecule. It is known as pyruvate, where it is been happening in the cytoplasm, in the cell in cell, which part cytoplasm the pyruvate is done. After that, after producing pyruvate, in all organism pyruvate will be done. Afterwards, the presence of oxygen. Okay, in the presence of oxygen, that is specially in human beings, in the presence of oxygen, in which part of the cell, that is in mitochondria, the pyruvate will change into carbon dioxide plus water and energy. Okay, so in the absence of oxygen, what happens now? This is in the presence of oxygen. Here, the upper one, absence of oxygen. Example, in yeast, the pyruvate will change into ethanol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. Okay, that is 2-carbon molecule into plus 2 ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. Okay, adenosine triphosphate, that is the energy. Now what happens if there is lack of oxygen? Here there is presence of oxygen, here no oxygen. But in this case, it is lack of oxygen, means it is less in our muscle cells only. Okay, in our muscle cells, when we need extra energy, this pyruvate will break down into lactic acid and energy. Okay, it will break down into lactic acid and energy. These are the three ways how the glucose is breaking down in the presence of oxygen and in the absence of oxygen. If it is done in the presence of oxygen, it is known as aerobic respiration. If it is in absence of oxygen, it is known as anaerobic respiration. Okay, aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration.